Now that we've created the foundation of our quiz, we're ready to add questions. So from this page, I'm going to go to the middle and click on Edit Quiz. This brings us to the page where we'll see all of the questions associated with this quiz. Now, there aren't any there yet, but that makes sense because I haven't added any. In order to add one, I'm going to go to the right-hand side and click on Add. From here, we can decide if we want a new question, a question from the question bank, or a random question. Now, I don't have any questions in my question bank yet, so I'm going to select New Question. This brings up a pop-up box showing you the different types of questions available for assessments, and there are a ton of them. We have multiple choice, true false, matching, short answer, and many more. I highly suggest looking through these different question types and playing around with them. There are some really neat ones, and you'll want to find the ones that work best in your situation. For this example, I'm just going to click on multiple choice. We'll add a multiple choice question. And then at the bottom, I'll click Add. This brings us to the template for multiple choice questions. Now here, we need to put it into a category. So anytime that you create questions inside of Moodle, they'll automatically be saved. And for organizational purposes, you'll want to figure out where you want them saved. In this case, I want it saved in my course, not just specifically for this quiz. Now, we have to give the question a name. And in here, because of the fact that Moodle does save all of your questions and allows you to access them and enter them in other assessments later, I suggest that you give the question a name that you'll recognize, not simply 1, 2, 3, 4, but something that lets you know what that question is about. So I'm going to put in here elements of communication and then 1. Now down below, I already have my question put in here. It says you email your team to change the time of a meeting. In this example, what is the medium? So this question text is where you can add in your actual question. You can type this out. You can use the rich text editor to add links, images, videos, whatever. Once we have that, I'll scroll down. We need to decide on the default mark. So for this, I'm going to put in 5. Want that worth 5. We have general feedback that you can leave, an ID number. You'll have to decide whether there is only one correct answer or multiple correct answers. In this case, there's only one. You can shuffle the question choices, decide how you want to number the choices. In this case, I'll keep it lowercase letters. And then below this, we can start entering in the answers. So you even have a rich text editor for these answers where you can put in links, images, and more. In this case, I just have text. And the first possibility is you. The next one is your team members. Next one, I have email. And then the next one, you need to change the meeting time. Now I'm going to go back up to the top and let's take a look at these answers. Now in here, the first choice that I put was you. This is the incorrect answer. So below here where it says grade, I want to keep this at none. So if they answer this, they receive no points. Now, if this were the right answer, I would put it at 100% and they would receive it. The cool thing with Moodle is that it allows you to also add partial credit. So if you have an answer that it's not the correct one, but it's not bad and you do want to give partial credit, you can decide on that. In this case, though, I'm going to keep it at none because it is not correct. Now below this, you can leave feedback. And that means that if a student selects this option, it will give them this feedback at the end. Here, when they put down you, I'll put you are the sender. I really like to do this for the incorrect answers so that they can see why they got that question wrong. Here are your team members. I'm going to put they are the audience. And I want to keep that at none because that is the incorrect answer. Now here for email, this is the correct answer. So I want to go here and click on 100%, meaning they'll get all of the points if they select this option. I'm not going to give any feedback for that. Down here, you need them to change the meeting. This is worth none. And I'm going to put this is the message. So I'll scroll down here. Now you'll notice that there are up to 5 options, but I'll leave this one blank so it will not appear. If you need to add more, you can simply click on blanks for 3 more choices and continue to add them. Now you can decide if you want to allow for multiple tries, and if so, do you want there to be a penalty for having to redo them? When you're done, I'm going to click on Save Changes. Now, like that, we have our elements of communication, number 1, question, inside of this quiz. Over here on the right, you can see that I put the default of 5 points, and that's fine. Up here, when we set up the quiz, I wanted it to be worth 10 points. And that's fine because it's going to be 2 questions that have 5 points each. Now I want to add another question, and I can easily do that by clicking Add over here on the right. Here I'll click a new question again, and this time I'll select True-False. Click Add. Again, we have to decide where we want this to go, in other words, which category. Below this, we can put the question name. I'm going to put Communication Elements 2. And then below that, we'll have the question text. So down here, I'm going to add this in. Now, once I have the text added in, I'll scroll down. And I'm going to say that I forget to put in the default mark here because I want to show you something in a little while. Here's general feedback. And then down below, we have to put in the correct answer. So notice that the template that I'm using here is different than the last one. That's because this is a template for true-false questions, while the last one was for multiple choice. This is very intuitive. Now, down here for correct answer, the correct answer in this case is true. So I want to put that in. And then if you want, you could leave feedback for students if they answered this option. Below that, it would be if they put the wrong one, do you want to leave any feedback that they would see? Now, down below that, we can decide if we want multiple tries and incur penalties. And then I'm going to click on Save Changes. So like that, I now have 2 questions. I could reorder these if I wanted to. I could delete them if I wanted to. And then look over here where this one is only worth 1 point. Well, this doesn't make sense because I had a 10-point quiz, but I only have a 5-point question and a 1-point question. So I needed this one to be 5 points, and I can easily edit that by clicking on the pencil icon. I'll click on it, add 5, hit enter or return. And like that, it's now a 5-point question, and this totals up to that 10. So here we have created that. I'm going to go ahead and click on Save, and we've now saved that quiz. I'll back out. Let's go back to my effective team communication dashboard. And if we scroll down, I now see that communication and leadership quiz. We'll open it up. And here we can see that we have that quiz. Now, a neat thing is that we can preview that quiz right away. So here it's telling us that there are up to 3 attempts allowed. It has a 10-minute time limit, and the grading method is average grade. I'm going to go ahead and click on Preview Quiz Now. It's asking us if we want to start because it is timed. I'll click on Start Attempt. And when I do that, notice over on the right that we have the time, and it's counting down, letting the learner know how much time they have remaining. You'll also see here the quiz navigation. You can navigate to different questions, say question 2, question 1, and then I can go ahead and answer them in here. So let's say that I get this one wrong. I'll put you. And then for the question number 2, I'm going to get that one right. I'll put true. Put finish attempt. Answers are saved. And I'm going to put submit all and finish. Now here it's letting me know how I did right away. And I think this is very powerful for students to see what the correct answer is if they got the answer wrong. In this first case, I guessed you, but they're telling me that that is the sender. So, okay, I learned from that one. Now down below, this one was correct. So I received a 1 out of 2 or 5 out of 10 points. All right, so that's how you add a quiz inside of Moodle. Now, when we were creating that quiz, we had the opportunity to add questions from the question bank. Remember that anytime you create questions inside of Moodle, it will automatically store those questions in the question bank so you can access them later. Next, let's take a look at the question bank.